This is the Fox 5 News Block.
Financial markets falling after the president's tariff war, plunging stocks here at home and around the world. And Mayor Adams announcing he's running for re-election as an independent, buying himself more time to get signatures as well as to raise money for his campaign. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Antoine Lewis. Welcome to the News Block. Those stories in just a moment, but first let's take a live look outside right now on a very dreary, wet day, cold. All of that, Liv Johnson, was the picture today, right?
Right. I mean, the temperatures look pretty nice, right? We're 68 degrees in New York, 72 down the shore in New Jersey, and mid to upper 50s out on Long Island in Connecticut. A lot warmer than yesterday. Look at this. We're close to 30 degrees warmer than we were 24 hours ago, but we're also dealing with some showers. It's possible you'll see a passing shower from now until dinner time, and it's more likely that we'll get some stronger rain between about 6 to 10 p.m. And we'll still see rain for our overnight hours as well. It takes us into Friday morning, so your commute will probably be a pretty wet one. Some of those could be thunderstorms as well. Now, it looks like by late morning, early afternoon Friday, we should be in the clear before we get more rain Saturday morning. Antoine.
All right, Liv, thanks so much. Wall Street reacting negatively to the president's tariffs plan today. Now, let's take a look at the big board as we talk and break this down. You can see what those numbers are. We can tell you that the Dow opened 1,500 points down today as we look at that board. And the S&P and NASDAQ were down as well. The world is reacting to the Trump administration's plan to place reciprocal taxes on foreign goods coming into the U.S. Stock shares of companies like Apple, Amazon, even Tesla, Elon Musk's company, all fell after this. Vice President J.D. Vance defending the tariffs on Fox and Friends this morning. Take a listen.
These foreign companies, they charge us ridiculous tariffs. They engage in a lot of non-tariff practices like currency manipulation. That has been awful for Main Street in the United States of America. It's meant those diners, their customers, don't have jobs anymore. It meant those great steel mills, those great auto plants have closed down and their workers have been laid off.
Our other top story, Mayor Adams announcing that he's running for re-election as an independent. So here's what's going on. The mayor released this video earlier today announcing that he will remain a Democrat, however, but run as an independent. Adams now has more time to collect petition signatures and raise money for his campaign. The deadline for Democrats is midnight tonight. Adams now has until May 27th to collect around 3,700 signatures. The mayor addressed his decision this morning right here on Good Day New York.
Collected 25,000 signatures on our Democratic petition, and we sat down with the team 2 days ago prior to the judge's announcement, and we said, Eric, we have to get the campaign up and running, get our fundraising back into action. You just can't do it in such a short period of time. Let's have a longer period of time and put the team together. And after the judge announcement, we were able to move forward the way I want to and get back into the streets the way I've always done.
The mayor's decision follows a federal judge's ruling yesterday to dismiss the federal corruption case against him. Breaking news to tell you about from Washington. The Pentagon's Inspector General is launching a probe into the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's actions in the controversial private signal chat. Now, officials want to determine if Hegseth violated department policy by discussing military attack plans on the chat. A reporter for The Atlantic was mistakenly added to that group chat. The investigation comes after top Democrats and Republicans on the Senate Armed Forces Committee requested it last week. Hegseth says no classified information was shared during that chat. The jobs of several senior White House national security officials appear to be on the line. Now, according to several people speaking on the condition of anonymity, far-right activist Laura Loomer urged the president to purge staffers that she deemed insufficiently committed to his Make America Great Again agenda. Loomer presented her research to Trump in an Oval Office meeting, making her case for the firings. Thousands in Lithuania coming together to honor 4 fallen American soldiers. Now, the soldiers were on a tactical training exercise in Lithuania when they and their vehicle went missing about a week ago. Ultimately, their bodies and that armored vehicle were found in a peat bog. Many onlookers were in tears, saying that it's important to show respect. The unit says 3 of them were posthumously promoted to the rank of staff sergeant. At least 3 people died from storms and tornadoes across the South and Midwest overnight. The severe storms and tornadoes left behind widespread damage, and the worst may not even be over. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri reports.
A brutal storm system sweeping through the South and Midwest overnight, spawning tornadoes in at least 4 states. This Missouri woman was lucky to have a concrete storm shelter. She hid there when she got the warning. When she came out, the garage she had been standing in was all but gone.
The door is right there, so that's the piece that hit that area. So I'm very thankful I went in there.
The damage could be seen across multiple states, flipping vehicles, tearing down tree limbs, power poles, and rooftops. There were reports of golf ball-sized hail in some areas, and the National Weather Service says the threat is not over, warning of a, quote, multi-day catastrophic and potentially historic heavy rainfall event. That could swell rivers and become too much for drainage systems to keep up with.
It's when we get a lot of rain in a short amount of time that it just overwhelms the system more than they were ever designed to handle.
Meteorologists say the storm system is so dangerous because it's not moving, tracking over the same areas repeatedly and dumping a massive amount of rain in the process. Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, and Indiana are at especially high risk for flooding. Emergency officials are getting prepared and pushing the public to make smart decisions.
We'll preach it 100 times, turn around, don't drown.
Forecasters predict as many as 90 million people could be under severe weather alerts in the coming days. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
We're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back.
It's on Friday. I'll be on the field. You're going to be there?
Is that the football guy?
Can you give me a minute? Thanks.
So, do you have any plans on Saturday? I was thinking
Hey, is that the guy?
Dad.
Yeah, it's the guy.
Oh, I found Mr. Squishy. Louder.
Here, there, everywhere. Reliable internet where you need it most. Prices start at $30 per month when bundled. Go to Spectrum.com to learn more.
We are back. 1,400 lucky New York City public school students got a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into producing a play on Broadway. Today, the nonprofit Inside Broadway partnered with Alicia Keys' award-winning musical Hell's Kitchen. The two hosted the popular program Creating the Magic for New York City public school kids. The program offers a free in-theater event that shows students all that's needed to bring a Broadway show to life, both on and off stage.
Well, you know, I think we are putting together the next generation of actors and musicians, producers, and of course, audiences as well.
Previous shows that have partnered with Creating the Magic include The Great Gatsby, Six, and Hairspray, among others. This morning, officials gathering at LaGuardia Airport to stress the importance of obtaining the real ID. Now, top officials from the TSA, New York State DMV, and Port Authority say New York residents who want to board a domestic flight will need a real ID by May. If your driver's license is not real ID compliant, you will need another form of approved identification. This means a passport, possibly, just to board your flight.
I don't want to get delayed when you're traveling. It can be stressful enough, especially if you're traveling with your kids. I have 2 tiny ones, and I can tell you I'm carrying a whole lot of stuff, and traveling with them is hard enough. So do yourself a favor, get your real ID if you haven't done it.
She's right. Now, the Real ID driver's license and ID cards have a small star or a flag on it to indicate that they meet federal regulations that establish minimum security standards. The New York State Liquor Authority is allowing the sale of alcohol at roadway dining setups. The agency granted conditional approval while applications remain under review. Last week, it was not clear if alcohol could be served outside because only 7 establishments actually got the green light. Both roadway and sidewalk dining need an updated license to serve alcohol outside. Take a look at this. Picture perfect moments from Central Park on Saturday. New Yorkers out enjoying a few hours of warm weather before a massive temperature drop. This happening by nightfall. And it appears this is something we may simply have to get used to. Now, the weather whiplash continues this week with some warmer temperatures today after a chilly one yesterday. Meteorologist Audrey Pointe has a closer look at the science behind these wild, very wild temperature swings.
You're not just imagining that the weather is all over the place lately. It is. The tri-state area teetering between winter and summer lately. Behind this yo-yo weather is a complex and fascinating weather pattern. Let's break it down with meteorologist John Hominick of New York Metro Weather.
I think in the last couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of temperature fluctuations. The pattern has been very volatile.
And a lot of that is just the transition that we're going into spring, where we start to see the Earth's axis tilt a little bit more towards the sun.
It all starts with the jet stream. As winter transitions into spring, the jet begins to shift north, letting in warmer air.
Recently, it's been a little bit more volatile than usual, and the weather pattern has been really active. So we've had a lot of storm systems and a lot of big swings in temperature.
Many of these storm systems entered the U.S. from the Pacific Ocean.
We've had this parade of disturbances coming through the United States over the last several days, over the last several weeks. And when that happens, we get very changeable, volatile weather, even here in New York, all the way on the East Coast.
A backdoor cold front caused the jaw-dropping 26-degree temperature drop in just 1 hour last Saturday.
The ocean is cold still this time of year. And when we warm up the air over the landmass, despite it being 75 degrees there, the ocean is still really cold. And so all it takes is a little wind shift, and that ocean air comes flowing back in. And that creates a frontal boundary. And so those backdoor cold fronts can change the weather very quickly.
So how long will this weather whiplash last?
I think it's very, very active for a while. To me, it's probably late April, maybe early May, when things start to settle in a little bit, and we'll be in a little bit more of what I would consider a typical spring pattern.
All right, with that, Liv Johnson, let's talk about what we're looking at right now.
Well, we're on the top of the roller coaster before we go back down for the weekend. A lot of us getting into the upper 60s and 70s as our high todays, and we're not dealing with that strong of winds, between about 10-20 miles per hour. Some of us have wind gusts out on Long Island, down the shore in New Jersey, but it should get calm tonight, and the next few days wind won't be as much of a story for us. Some showers that roll through this evening. Remember, I said about 6 to 10 p.m., but really we'll still see some rainfall through those overnight hours into Friday morning. This at 4 o'clock in the morning. We start really mild tomorrow in the mid to upper 50s, and then that rainfall should be out of our way by late morning, afternoon, just in time for that Mets home opener. Then, before we can really be in the clear, Saturday morning comes back around and brings up some rainfall. The whole weekend is a pretty wet one, and Saturday will also be a bit more chilly, just seeing a high of 51 before we go back up on this roller coaster ride to a high of 72 on Sunday. Antoine, it's a whole lot of rain. Really, we just see like next Wednesday we don't have any rain.
Well, we won't blame the messenger, Ms. Johnson, so thank you so much for that. All right. Everybody, that is your news block for now. I'm Antoine Lewis. We thank you so much for joining us. Tune in to the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on the Fox Local app for all of the day's news as it develops. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. Take your umbrellas. You heard Ms. Johnson, and stay safe.